Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White, your host of Keeping It Real on Purpose, and I have an esteemed guest with me today on Real Talk with Life Coaches, and her name is Heidi Medina, and she stands out in the crowd online. So I'm just ready to find out how she's standing out. We're going to ask her a lot of questions. I know we are. So she is a 30-plus year business owner and a social media marketing strategist. Now I know how. Now I know why she stands out. She motivates online business owners and coaches, about 350, about that much plus, who want to stand out talking to their connections and paying clients and collaborating. Well, I like that word. You know, I like it. Using content, networking, and live events to attract dream clients and collaborations. So forget about the pushy sales and build a genuine relationship. That's what we're all about. Authenticity that convert through conversation. Welcome to Keeping It Real on Purpose.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. And that amazing introduction. I think I just need you to come do my introduction.
I love it. I love it. I love what you do. We had a pre-show snafu. We had to go from one platform to the other, but it was like we never left. So it's good.
Nope.
It's good money. I love
It's tech. Come on.
Yes, right? Can't go to simpler than that. That's it. That's it. Really it. So tell us about you. Tell us about Heidi.
Well, that's a big question. I mean, you said I stand out. You know, it's the red hair. I stand out everywhere.
It's the red hair.
Why I stand out.
It's the red hair.
It's the red hair.
No, I think it's the red aura. I think that's what it is. That's the aura.
Ooh, do I have a red one? Nobody ever told me that. Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever told me the color of my aura.
Mm-hmm. It's a red aura.
Got that. Wow. Okay. What does that mean? What does it mean if it's
red? We give off energy.
Yes.
A lot of times too, you can see it on your skin. You can see it on the skin itself. So sometimes you'll see like green hues and red hues of people. Like if you see, because my granddaughter has green, you could tell she's green, and I'm red. Yeah. You know, you those are the colors you really kind of give off. And then there's personal colors, and sometimes like those mood rings we can give off. But normally we have those two colors that we kind of give off.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I love this stuff. And everybody's like, oh, a lot of it's hokey and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, no, there's some truth to all of it.
There's a lot of truth in that. A lot of truth in all that we all do. You know, of course, you know, when we were brought up in church, and no matter where we were brought up, that particular religion was the right one. You know, the right one.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I had the thing when I grew up. Though I grew up with two. I mean, Christianity was it, but my dad was Seventh-day Adventist, and my mom was Baptist. Right. So I got to go to church 2 days a week, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, girl, if you was Pentecostal, you go to church every day. Okay.
Yes. So
you got out easy.
It's so funny.
But we've been around, always one way is always the right way. And I'm going to tell you, as I got older and moving into more of the spiritualness of the connection, because even I was involved in religion, not when I was younger, but when I got older and I was able to navigate myself. Coming out, I didn't really know who God was, because I was always looking here. I was always looking like there was going to show up something. Didn't know what it was, right? But when I got out, I always was drawn to numbers, always drawn to horoscopes. And I always was drawn to the energy of the person. Always. It was like when I was a little, I used to like know that stuff, So it all is relevant because it wouldn't be here if it wasn't relevant. It's for
I
us to
agree.
figure it out intuitively, you know?
I so agree. And I mean, I grew up in a very religious family. So
Hmm.
when I got out, I just, not all of it fully resonated. So for a while I went through, I believed in the universe and this. I'm
Right,
spiritual. I always
right,
said I'm spiritual.
right, right.
And I still, because I do think there's so much that is, we're still figuring out and all that. And
Yes.
I think they all have right points and everything to them. But
Yeah, they
I
do.
think it all does in the connection to whatever that is around us.
Right. Whatever that
We're
power
just
is. Yeah.
part of it all. We're part of
Yes.
the bigger energy and
Right.
that kind of stuff. So I still
Yeah.
believe that, and I don't think any one religion is
Yeah.
right or
Yeah.
wrong. It's
Hmm.
they've all got their parts, and we've all
Yeah.
got our. It's all just spirituality, and
It
we're all
really
just
is.
connected,
It really, all the other stuff on
right?
the outside, it's like eating a candy bar and you have to eat the whole thing in order to get to the middle, you know, but
At least that's the
the outer
excuse we tell
crust.
ourselves.
It's what we tell ourselves. But it's all literally in the interior is all about getting to know, having a relationship with that higher self or higher being, universe or God, as it were, to have that relationship and have that trust that way. It really is all about that.
Hmm. I agree, and I mean I think that's what connects us all, and that helps us bring those connections because I think that even comes down to why you may like or not like someone.
Yeah.
You're just not on that vibe. You're not on that energy
Yeah, it's
level.
energy, right? It's energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, and we're not going to have the same vibe as everyone
No,
else, and that's okay.
no, it is.
It's
It really is. It's
really
okay.
is.
That's a good thing to say because audience, we always talking about like, everybody we should love everybody, and this is a good point. I'm glad you brought us to this. This is really good because we talk about we should like or love everybody, all the time, and
Hmm.
some people you're not able to do that. You're either you're lying. Are you lying? Like, okay, let's take a bad person and he's gone, he's dead, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Can you love that person?
I mean, if you're on the right level of vibration and energy, I would say yes, but let's just say most of us aren't there.
Right. Because what could you emotionally,
Yeah.
we're led by that. It's like, I don't think I want to lie like that. It's just not something I'm going to contribute to. And I was like,
Mm-mm.
I won't even plead the fifth. I'll be like, I can't answer. I won't answer that because I wouldn't know how to. And
Mhm.
maybe that will be my answer is I don't know how to love him like I'm
Yeah.
supposed to. you know Maybe that's the answer. Maybe I don't know how to love that person the way they need to be because you know
Well,
um
wouldn't that be a lot of pressure if you needed to love everyone?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But girl, now they say this. We have to love people. They say that. They say it. We have to love them. It's like we don't have to. We have to like them. Or maybe be civil to them or kind to them. Maybe kind, if they come
Yeah.
our way. I don't know even about that. Because if a robber comes your way or somebody with a gun, can you be kind? I don't know. Just don't know. I just don't know. I think it's a lot of learning stages that we have to go through and to be so very mindful of how we answer, how we really feel, being true to that. It's a lot of
Honest.
work.
Yeah. It is. And I think it even part of the honesty and being true is being able to admit, hey, we might not like someone.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I
that's
mean?
okay. Because isn't there a
I think
yin and a
so.
yang? Isn't there a yin and a yang and a bad and no, a good and an evil?
Yeah.
Isn't there? I would think so.
Gotta be. There's gotta
Yeah.
be. I just think it's too much pressure. And don't get me wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
I do my best. I do my best to
Mm.
accept and to send out love and good
Yes.
vibes to
Yes.
anybody I meet. And I do.
Yes.
And because I want the best for everybody.
Everybody. Yes.
You really do. But I
Yes.
think for me, it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to
Mhm.
try to say, oh, I have to love everybody. I have to like
Yeah.
everybody.
That's the truth. See, that's
It's too
great.
much pressure. Because I don't think that's the way it works. Because I don't think we're
No.
on the same vibe or energy. And I
Yeah.
think that's why people struggle so much with because people come and go in our lives. That's the thing.
Yes.
And either they were there to teach us something, or we were there to, they were there to learn something from us. We were to teach them something.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are necessarily permanent in your life.
No.
I know I do. Some people will argue because I've had this conversation. Some people are like, well, I've had my best friend since I was like in second grade.
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and
oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
that's pretty amazing. I know that doesn't happen to the majority of people. And I do think I think we go through different energy levels and different vibes and stuff.
Yes.
And when that happens, that people come and go. And I just think that's part of life.
It is. It is. And I think another layer of that, we're so programmed on longevity.
Yes.
The longer you stay married, the longer you're with your friends, you're doing something.
Yes.
And we're programmed that longevity means happiness. And
you're a good person.
Yes, and you're a good person, but it doesn't. It just, I've seen, and I know you as a coach yourself have seen people, even their business, stay to their business till it goes under. No, I've had this business, they hold it on for dear life, right? Or if they're in a relationship, they're holding, everything about it is toxic. And they're holding on by their fingernails, right?
To a toxic relationship. And I mean, I am that's a tough one for me. I've got an experience a lot of people don't have. So I actually cut out the majority of my family at 32.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are totally right. You're totally right. You're totally right.
But it's not easy because we're raised, blood is thicker than water.
Oh,
and you're supposed to forgive everything. And I was raised in an abusive family, and it wasn't. At 28, I had the light bulb come on. This isn't normal. We don't have to live like this. When you grow up that way, it's normal. I know a lot of people are like, why didn't you get out sooner? I mean, because I married.
You're around it. You're just around it.
I married into an abusive relationship because it was just normal. This is how I grew up. Of course, this is how relationships are. And it wasn't, the light bulb went off at 28. No, this isn't normal. This isn't how healthy relationships are.
Right.
And I got out at 32, and then I kept working with my family for a while, and I was trying to get different results for me and them, and at least be able to have something. And it just didn't happen, and it kept going. And finally, I just said, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And a lot of it's hard. It's hard. I know they're all living. I know they're still there and everything. And it's hard to know that and know I'm not part of it. But at the same time, it's what was right for me. Yeah. And it still is to this day. And it was the best decision I could have made because I couldn't bloom if I stayed.
Right.
And but it's not the easiest, but it comes back to that, and then people look at you. Why don't you have your family? What's wrong with you?
Right. And that's okay too, because I'd rather be alone. I'd rather not even alone, but I'd rather be in solitude than to be in chaos. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be, no matter what it is. I don't care if I'm going shopping. If I can have, even if I know I'm around a lot of people, but there's a specialness about being. You're going to the store, grocery shopping yourself. There's solitude. You're at peace with that. But if it's going to be hectic and all of that, and here's a great example. When kids lived with me, they would text me, "Ma, don't forget this," and I don't want to go shopping. I already got a list. Now I'm going to add all of this. It's annoying. It's just annoying. That's what I'm talking about. If I would rather be that way. Let me ask you, when you were transitioning out of that at 28, because I think I did that around about the same, about maybe 32. I started like, you know, um, and I tried to work with them on certain things, to
Mhm.
be truthful about certain
Same.
things.
Yeah.
And when you transitioning, did you feel lonely? Did you feel, how did you feel about that? Like when you were just transitioning, say, hey, no more, I'm gonna go here. And then you would hear they're having these parties that go here, and you'd be like, how did you feel about that?
Well, the light bulb went off at 28, and I spent 4 years trying to do everything I could first. So it was 32. I finally got out,
Right.
and I moved from North Carolina to Colorado, started over completely, a new
Okay.
life, didn't know anyone, everything. Honestly, from growing up in a situation like that and everything, I am the oldest of five siblings, so I did, and I
I'm the
missed.
oldest of six. That's pretty cool.
We got oldest syndrome.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We do. It was. I'm not going to say it wasn't hard. It wasn't. And then, honestly, and I didn't think, because I quit the relationship with most of them. I still have one of my sisters. That's it. The rest of the family is out at this, and has been. But my mom died last October, and I didn't
I'm so
know.
sorry.
Your parents are going to die at some point, so you
Yeah,
knew
of
that was
course.
coming, and the decision was, what are you going to do? And everybody, and I said, I don't know till it happens. And I had no call to go back. There was no call inside, but I did mourn. I did grieve over it, and I did. It hit me hard because I didn't realize how much hope I was holding that somehow one day we might be.
Yes,
It's
that's
your
it.
mother. It's your mother.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it doesn't
You're
matter
holding
how
on
bad
to that.
things were.
That's
It,
good.
it's your mom,
Yeah.
and so I didn't realize till that hit me that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
And the
and
hope
that
hits you. The hope hits you. It's like all those years you were hoping
a
that.
little bit, because it's your
Yeah.
mom, and and it's my family in general. And I mean, they're all still
Right.
alive now except my mom. So it's like, you kind of just wonder one day, will they care enough, or
Yeah.
this or
Yeah.
that?
Will they
But,
come looking for you? Will they come looking for you? Yeah.
well, and they have a couple of times over the year, but you could tell nothing had changed. So I
Right.
just,
And what I mean is, would they come,
yeah,
when they get
yeah,
better?
but yeah,
When
do
they
they
get
care
better, would
enough?
they put in the
Yeah,
effort? The effort.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know what they would say on their side too, is because I chose to cut them out was my choice. And it was
Right.
my choice, but it was the right choice for
Yeah.
me. It was the only healthy choice for me to move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
And it still is the right choice. As much as sometimes
Absolutely.
I do miss them, I still care, but
Hmm.
it's not healthy. So
Hmm.
you got to do what you got to do to make yourself healthy. Blood is
Yeah.
not thicker than water. I feel like you make your family,
Yeah.
um, and that is your family. I mean, I've got some friends that are way more family and care about me in a way that my family never did. That
Yeah.
we think families should care for us.
Yes.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
It's
That
true.
just got heavy.
Yeah,
we got deep.
we got really deep on that one. I can tell you one thing. I never liked my parent, my mom and my stepdad always argued. Never liked it. Liked arguing. I never, when I would hear it, even if I'm at a restaurant, I would like, okay, it's time to get up. Let's go. I couldn't handle
Mhm.
it. I couldn't handle the
Yeah.
arguing, the screaming, the yelling. I couldn't handle it. Even when my kids used to scream, I was like, oh my gosh. I had patience with them, but they would, at the top of their lungs. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I could, it always bothered me. But when I was migrating away from, the toxicity, all of a sudden I started getting anxiety, right? And
Hmm.
I was like, what the heck? It's quiet at my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, when you said we have the elder
Well, the
syndrome,
syndrome.
girl, I told them February 13th, 2013, I was quitting. I quit. I was like, I'm quitting the role altogether. It took me a couple of years, but I quit. But anyway, I was feeling this anxiety. You know what I was missing?
The drama.
Yes.
The drama. I know. I went through that
You know, I had to,
withdrawal.
I had to do I was withdrawal. It was literally withdrawals
Yeah.
of like not hearing it, not knowing, and I'm looking at the phone. What are they gonna? And I'm saying, I'm missing the trauma, and the trauma was like feeding for it. Like it was like, oh my gosh, and I had to really learn how to stay home and sit.
And
Literally.
live
So of course I
without it,
started
right?
meditating. Of course I started meditating. Who would know, right?
It is because you're in that, and that's what you've been trained to. You've been all
Yes.
this and everything, and it truly is amazing when you get away from it for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want it
Oh
back
yeah.
because it's
Oh
all
yeah.
you know,
All you know, honey.
and then you start realizing, no, it's actually not what I want. I'm
Hmm.
retraining myself. I got to love myself more and this kind of stuff. And yeah, and then once you finally let it go, when you get in those situations, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. And you know it. And see, that's the beauty of, choosing. Like you said, you chose. You could have stayed and battling all the nonsense. I chose. I could have stayed.
Exactly.
But I made a choice. And when you make a choice, you're learning those lessons. Those lessons, like, okay, those lessons are
Yeah.
going up. Wherever the bank is, it goes into. And then when you see it, you see any signs of it. Either you're gonna call on it or you're gonna get going. That's it.
Exactly.
You're not
Well,
gonna
and
you're not
I
gonna
think
go into it.
it's loving yourself. It's choosing
Yes.
yourself at that point. And it's like you've
It is.
realized you've set on that next level and you've realized this isn't actually healthy for me. This
No,
isn't what
no.
I want. And I mean, it sounds
Uh-huh.
like you had a very similar situation of that light bulb going off
Yeah.
and saying, no, this isn't okay.
Yeah.
This
No.
isn't me. And it is so amazing when you finally do get away from it and you let go of the drama because you
Mhm.
do. I went through the same withdrawal that did you ever intentionally cause some at that point? Because I know I did, just to have
No,
it back.
I didn't call them, but I was like, I started talking myself down, like, oh, they don't want to be bothered with you and all this stuff. Start talking bad
Hmm.
to yourself. And then I was like, wait, I chose to get out of this. But it took me a while to kind of realize,
Yeah.
hey, I was literally, when they have the empty nest syndrome, I was like the empty toxic nest syndrome or something. I was going, it was really, I
Yeah.
was anxious. I was
Hmm.
crying. I was like, what the heck? It was bad. And I had to like really realize, and I was going back. I went back to the therapist, and she said, "You're having withdrawals." That's the
Yeah.
simplest way I could tell you. And yeah, and you have to. She said you have to start doing something to ground yourself now. So I had to start to. I started at that point. I started in 2000 after 2013. I started meditating. That's when my meditation journey started because I had to simmer this mind down because this mind was like thinking all this stuff and hearing all these things, and it was just, yeah, wasn't great.
That's really cool. I mean, it really is. I mean, yeah, it was a few years later I started meditating. I think it was my therapist that recommended it, and she got me into it, if I remember correctly. I started journaling first, is how I dealt with it, and so I
Okay.
got into
Yeah, me
journaling.
too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know it was journaling at the time.
yeah,
Karen, I
yeah.
was writing, okay?
Yeah, she got me into meditation and tapping to help
Okay,
handle
yeah.
the. Yeah, so which was I gotta say, I did not realize how effective that was going to be to help me
Oh
calm
yeah.
down, like how to get in a situation that might be charged the way it was with my
Hmm.
family
Hmm.
again. And she had taught me just to start either tapping on my wrist or tapping on the side of my leg just to bring
Yeah.
myself back. Very effective.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But yeah, I would so how would you figure on okay, so we want to talk about your social media marketing, right? How is that different? Showing your clients how to proceed with collaborations and content and networking and all of that stuff? How does that work?
Well, big thing for me, and it probably comes from how I grew up, was oh, you got a baby.
Shh,
um,
Cooper.
it comes from communication is key for me. It's one of the big things that for me has always been necessary. And because my family actually weaponized communication, they would all of a sudden not talk to you, things like that. And it would be one of those situations of you wouldn't know what happened and everything. So I think for me, it was all about communication. And with marketing, it was always kind of a thing for me. My brain works on marketing, it loves it. And so communication is where I help people, they just connect with people. And it's all about if you can talk to people, then you can connect, and then you can actually turn them into clients, that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, I think that's what it come from, was way back in the day, is not being talked to enough and stuff. So it carried on, and my brain automatically, I grew up in an entrepreneur family, and the marketing side always intrigued me. This is my 5th business. I've always done the marketing. So it was like, why not help other people do it? But at the end of the day, the type of marketing I help people with is literally about communicating. It's connecting and talking to people. And when you do that, you turn your connections into clients, and that's what all online marketing is. And people forget that. They don't realize it's relationship building. We're not building a relationship. Like, why are people going to buy from you? You're not Walmart. We're talking about smaller businesses and stuff. We're not Walmart, where people go in because we got a reputation. Instead, they got to get to know you and like you, so they buy from you.
Gotcha. That's good. Is there one suggestion that you could say to start making those business relationships? What goal would you give your client? For me, I know I would tell my clients, I tell them, you have to communicate with somebody, set up chats or whatever you want to do during the week. What is one of your suggestions?
I mean, that's really the big thing, is start getting out there and just talking to people. Because so I do pretty much all online. So of course, everybody with the screen, the keyboard, it can be a little weird for people, and they forget that it's still just a conversation. It doesn't matter whether you put it out there's a written piece of content, you're replying in the comments, DMs, whatever it is, you're just still talking to people. So if you aren't doing that, then the likelihood of you actually connecting and selling is not great. So just have a conversation. And remember that even when you're writing it out, it's still just talking to people. So just get out there and talk to people. Figure out who your ideal client is and talk to them.
That's good. That's good. I love business relationship, building business relationships. It's really great, especially with the conversations. I don't like the DMs too much because it doesn't really,
Oh, I love them.
You love DM talking? Well, you got to give me a technique on that.
I do. No, I help people get into the DMs because I know it's scary. I know a lot of people find it scary. I did in the beginning. I found it scary as well. Because the thing is, we do get hit with a lot of cold pitching. We get hit with a lot of really crappy DMs we don't want. But here's the thing. Everybody's posting content online for our business.
Gotcha.
So how are you going to stand out? Get the conversation going. And I'm just saying, do it with permission, but just get to talking to people. And when you get to talking to people, listen to them, ask questions, get to know them, let them open the door so you can find out what their problem is and if you can help them. You know what I mean? But if you don't get to talking to people, but just honestly, it was funny. I just did a summit last night, interview last night, and she says, what's your number one tip for getting into the DMs? Because we were talking, it was all about DMs. And I said, just get it started. If you are too scared to talk business, fine, don't. You saw a great piece of their content they had, you loved it, go compliment them on it. Tell them how much you appreciated it.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's really good.
At the end of the day, just if you get them talking, that's the big thing. And then you can go from there, But but don't be scared to do that because so many people are so scared to reach out.
That's great. That's good. Yeah, my dog is doing his own thing. He's messing around with maintenance. He don't. So
They
sorry
have
about
they have their own voices too.
that. Oh my gosh. Audience, we've come to the end of our show, but I'm gonna have Heidi come back, and we're gonna do do a nice workshop for you all. So look for that. If Heidi says it's okay, I'm just stealing her. I'm just stealing from her. I'm just stealing her
Okay.
already. Well,
Okay.
Heidi, we thank
Twist
you,
my
girl.
arm.
Yes, we thank you for coming on today. We've really gotten deep. This is what I like. I like our synergy already. Boom. We're gonna do something really, fantastic. I love your energy. Where are you from? I didn't look at your profile to ask you where you're from.
I'm actually from North Carolina.
Okay. I can hear
I
it.
spend most of my time. Yeah, I know. It slips out. I live most of my time in Portugal now.
Wow. You're the second person in Portugal that I've met that moved there. How do you like it? The weather?
Love it.
Really?
I do. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong. So I am in a really good place in Portugal where everybody else has been roasting. I've been sitting here. When's summer going to get here? So we've been very blessed that we've been cool. Everybody else has been roasting. I must admit.
Yeah, that's what my other guest said. She's roasting. She says, I don't go out after 8 a.m.
Yeah,
it's like 110.
Honestly,
but the evenings are great.
You go
the
45 minutes that way, it's like that.
Yeah,
The area we live in is like San Francisco in the summer. It's foggy, it's cool, it's this ocean breeze. By train, we're 10 minutes from the beach.
Okay.
I drive in a little further because the roads do this.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're in one of the bubbles in Portugal that is definitely been cooler. Like today was only 24, which is about 75 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And so but if you go 45 minutes that way, I think they're almost at 100 today.
Okay, awesome. Well, we thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being on the show. Now, audience, if you have any comments, anything that we said today that you'd really like to comment on, please leave it under the video or around the video, or if you're not watching us, you're on audio. You know what to do. Click that button, send us the question. All right. This is Edna White, your host, and my esteemed guest, Heidi Medina, saying goodbye for now.
Thank you. Goodbye.